Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new live stream. And today, I'm going to be talking about the New York Knicks. Of course, they went on to trade for Cam Reddish. But before we get into this, is there an echo? Is the audio messed up? Like, let me know in the chat. Is the audio all good? Let me know in the chat before we start up. Because I'm afraid there's an echo. Yo, what's going on, Brady? He says 6-6. Funny dude, funny dude. 2022 champs, baby. But yeah, how you doing, man? But yeah, can you guys hear me good? Is there an echo at all? If you can, let me know in the chat. That would be good. What's up, New York Knicks? He says, "What's up? How you doing, man? How are you?" But what are your guys' thoughts on this trade? I thought we got very good value out of it. Can you guys hear me? I don't see anyone typing anything in the chat. You guys hear me good? Is there an echo or anything? Let me know, let me know. MH, can you hear me good? You hear me great, Brady? Yo, what's going on, MH? Sounds good? Okay, good. Because now I think I could bring people on. And I wanted to hear people's thoughts on this trade. I thought we got good value. I like the deal. Obviously, he's not where he was like picked. Like when it comes to his potential, some people thought he was going to be better than he's turned out. But I still think he could be a good player, and he's improved definitely this season from beyond the arc. Good defender. We're not just looking like for success now. We're looking for success in the future. But if anyone wants to join, there is the link. And yeah, I wonder if there's another move coming, if we're going to trade Evan Fournier, Burks, see what happens. Because I don't think Cam's going to like start right off the bat. I agree. I think it was a good move. That Charlotte pick wasn't going to be shit. I feel like we got him to recruit Zion. I want to see Zion get into good shape, and then we can talk about that. But it's possible. Cam Reddish, RJ, they played together in college. Zion might be like, I like what's going on over there. Leon Rose is a genius. I love this trade. I think eventually he's going to start at the 3, and RJ will slide down to the 2, and Fournier will come off. I don't think Cam's going to start right off the bat. I don't think he will. We know Tibbs. He's going to have to show it in practice and everything. But Fournier's going to have to be gone, though. No way we end up extending Reddish or giving all this money to Reddish, and like we continue to pay Fournier. Randall or Zion. Well, Zion hasn't played basketball this year, so Julius back in New Orleans. I agree. I think they just wanted him gone fast. I feel like he didn't show enough for them to really extend him, and I don't think he's the best of fit with Trae Young, in my opinion. Yeah, that's why I like the move. It's good now and for the future. Oh, my boy, mates is here. Let's pray I can hear him. Please. Hopefully I can hear him. Yo, what's up, MH?
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. I mean, I
Okay,
love the
great.
new
What's
headphones. I love.
what's what's going on, MH? How you feeling?
I don't know. I don't know why. Now everything's going well for the Knicks. Like one, we were just talking last week or 2 weeks ago about because again we're impatient fan base because we're New York, and then we see that we traded for Cam, which I really didn't think. Out of all the three guys we were rumored to get, I thought he was like the least. Because I'm like, why would
Yeah.
Atlanta want to help us? But I think Atlanta's looking for next year. I don't know if they believe they can do what they did last year when they had a horrible start and then they hired a Nate McMillan. I think
Hmm.
now they're thinking like, maybe we can. Maybe I'm not saying they're a fluke. Like they still got a
Yeah.
great team, but we'll see what happens. I like Cam, but I think this is more for a long term move. And I don't want to say because I don't believe it, but I think you know what I'm hinting at. I just don't
So,
want to say it because
mhm.
it's a very it's a long term. I think it's more of a long term move because Cam's not like gonna start. We know that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I want to get your. I know you had the video and all, but what do you think really is like the thinking, the rationale for both teams? I think Atlanta's kind of they're weird for doing this move. I think they've kind of given. I don't know if they've given up on the season, but they just got Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox
Yeah.
hasn't played all season, so
Actually, the Kevin Knox move obviously hasn't worked out with us, but I feel like he fits their system a lot better than Cam Reddish. Because Knox, obviously, he hasn't performed off the dribble. And what's he done with the Knicks? He's been a catch and shoot guy. And I didn't think Cam Reddish was the best to fit with Trey because Cam sometimes gets erratic and tries to perform off the dribble. And I didn't think Cam showed enough for him to like get paid. I'm not sure how much he's going to get with us, but do you think Fournier is going to be gone? I feel like another move's coming.
you know what's crazy? I was thinking that it has to be because you don't just get Cam. I mean, I think they're trying to get another move done, but I don't think it's going to be done like today. If the Knicks make another move, it'll be near the deadline. I don't
Mm,
think right now we're going because it surprised me because the Knicks don't make
same.
moves this early. We didn't make a trade last season because we thought last season, like I think last year's team was an anomaly. I don't think we'll see a type of team like that with at least talent to be the fourth seed. That has to be like I've never
Mm,
had a team or seen a team as a fourth seed have the lead like Alfred Payton at point guard, Reggie, but like
yeah.
you said it yourself, like I don't know if it's more of a I personally think we're gonna maybe set up a move for Grant. And I know a lot of not a lot of
I
Knicks
can
fans
see
want to
that.
hear
We're
that,
interested in
but
him.
Grant is like a Tibbs player in my opinion. He plays defense unlike Fournier, and I think Detroit would eat the money from Fournier because I think actually Fournier would fit what Detroit's doing. And I know a lot of people aren't they don't think that, but think about it. Cade likes shooters, and well
Yeah.
Grant kind of shot well actually. I don't think he shot horrible, but
I don't know
with
his
Denver.
percentages. I'll need
I
to
think
check.
Denver. I mean, he was a defensive. That was kind of his calling card. So that may be the move, in my opinion. I just don't know how. The biggest thing I got from this move is now what happens with Grimes because I
Yeah.
feel like now Grimes is the odd man out, and I love Grimes. I'm like, I'm his biggest damn fan. I love Quinn Grimes. He can play defense and he shoots. I mean, he hit three threes yesterday. So
Hmm. What
crazy. But I
about?
want you,
I think Burks is an interesting situation. Obviously, he's playing point guard right now, but I'm interested to see what the team's going to look like when Kemba comes back, because
D
then
Rose, yeah, D
the
Rose too.
rotations I feel like are going to be different. And do you think this was a Leon Rose move or a Tom Thibodeau move? Obviously, they both agreed on it, but who do you think like really thought of this move more? Because we know it's a big name. We know RJ played with Cam, but obviously he plays defense as well. And Grant's out for the rest of the season, so even if we did go on to trade for him, like he want to play this year.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be another long term movie. I actually, to
Yeah.
answer your question though, I do think it's definitely like I think Leon. He's. I mean, his egghead, self is definitely. He's thinking long. Like he's waiting for Zion. I don't think this move is just oh we want to get Cam Reddish because he has high
Oh my.
potential. I don't think Cam. I think Cam at the best he could probably be. Yeah, I think he could be a starter in the league. He plays defense. A lot of people talk about his motor, but he can drop a. I mean, that's the thing too. He can have those nights. Didn't he drop like 30 points this season? He had a
Yeah.
crazy game. Like
Hmm.
he has the ability to go off at any second, but that's the biggest thing is like, do you get that consistently? Kind of like RJ, another guy with like, you don't know when his motor is going to be on, but when it is on, that's a really good player. And if you have them both, I think if anything, if it's not for Zion, this is to keep RJ happy. You got to keep RJ.
I agree.
You don't want RJ to leave in free agency and get unhappy, have another Porzingis situation, although Porzingis, demanded, and then we're like, okay, you don't like what we're doing? Trade you immediately. Like, we don't want another situation like that. So,
Yeah, Zion's obviously looking over like, oh shit, like some of my best friends are like playing together. I want to be a part of that because we know he's not happy in New Orleans. But let's see Zion get into shape first. But it definitely is looking like I feel like Zion definitely wants to join us only if he was in better shape. But do you think this might sound crazy? Some Knicks fans may hate on me. Are we gonna try to get like a Halliburton? Is Obi on the move? Do you think Obi will be on the move?
I mean, I really don't like. I don't know what going with down with Obi. I don't have any sources. We just know that
Yeah,
Obi, you can see his face in the games. He is frustrated. You can tell on the bench he's
I would
frustrated.
too.
I mean, when you're that talented, like some guys, I don't think they like we know Obi's a humble guy, but you've seen the talent, you've seen the high flying dunks. Like
Yeah,
we haven't had a player who just athletically, like we're not used to athleticism because we have all these guys who just, they're sluggish, they play, they don't play
yeah,
as fast. We never really have fast players. So then when we acquire guys like through the draft or through free agency who have a little bit of athleticism, we're happy. So I don't know where Obi fits in the long term. He's not a three. He can't play next to Randall. They never played next to each other, only in limited minutes because
yeah,
Thibodeau doesn't understand. Like Tibbs doesn't understand really taking risk in terms of lineups. He's a very safe. That's why he plays the veterans. He's a safe coach and he's a winning coach. You got to give him credit for that. So
yeah. Obi's like we've seen the talent with him, like, but he just doesn't fit our system like consistently, like at all. Like we've seen moments we get him involved, but it's so hard for him to develop. Like there's no guarantee with him. Like before, I believe he got the virus, or when he came back, I forgot which game it was. He got like a lot of minutes, and then out of nowhere, he's gonna get like 10 minutes. It's hard to consistently develop someone when you're not consistently giving them minutes, especially because he's improved this season. Not like he's someone that doesn't deserve his minutes at all. Tibbs has just been very inconsistent with. He always talks about he's going to play the guys that put him in the best position to win, or play guys that like they've shown in practice, they've shown it in games. But like Obi has shown it in games, and he's still not getting consistent minutes. And Randall's not playing good, so I don't understand it.
yeah, I was gonna say too. It's crazy that Grimes has had like a few really good games, and now if he only hits like two 3 pointers, Tibbs is like, oh my God, I gotta play this guy because he can give me something on the defensive end. Obi, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but that's the thing with Obi that Tibbs is probably never gonna like about him. He's not a consistent defender and he's a big man, which again, Tibbs, his system, he needs a rim protecting big man. That's why
Yeah,
Mitch is flourishing currently, but Mitch has kind of always been semi consistent. Obviously, he's been hurt. And even Noel he just came back in the lineup yesterday and he immediately plays 21 minutes, more minutes than Obi. So it's definitely, I'm not saying there's politics involved, but I think
yeah,
Tibbs knows what he likes and is sticking to what he likes. And I don't think he's a part of what we're doing, which is sad because we drafted him with the intention, yeah, that's going to be the guy who's going to play 30 minutes a game and what, 10 minutes? It's not going to
yeah.
work out. It's
But I
definitely
just
not.
love this Reddish move though, because we talked about it before. Like there's barely any athleticism on this team. We know Kemba when starting. He's not some above the rim athlete. We obviously know this. RJ's good athlete, but not like great. Fournier, we know this. This dude just a basic white dude out there on the floor. Randall, I feel like he has athleticism, but he doesn't consistently utilize it because he's shooting outside on the perimeter too much. Mitch, obviously, we know is great, but Cam Reddish just gives us a brand new element of just athleticism, shot creation potential. But that's the big thing. We always talk about this huge thing,
Mhm.
potential. It means nothing if you don't maximize it, if you don't get it the most out of your player. But I love that it's a good move for now. Like, obviously, he's not going to play right away, but he still provides us defense. He still provides us outside shooting and athleticism, even though he's not polished all the way. But it's good for now and good for the future. Not like we got a veteran to help impact this team for 1 year just to make a playoff push, and he's going to be gone in a couple of years. This is a good long term move. Yes, he needs to work out. I do think he could be solid at the worst, but we also didn't give up a lot. So I do like the move. We gave up that Charlotte pick, which doesn't mean shit. Kevin Knox, like I forgot to mention him in my freaking video because who cares?
No,
no,
I think
no,
yeah, you said that. Well, again, Knox. Again, it's sad because again, it's another guy we drafted fading away. Like I actually was thinking like during all like when we brought Knox back, I was thinking like, what are we doing? We brought Knox back and let Frank go, and I'm a big Frank fan. Obviously, when
yeah,
Frank hit, it was fun to see some former Knicks play. I always support like I'm going to support Knox too. Like although he's playing for now an enemy, he's still like I think there's
yeah.
some untapped again. I don't like using potential. That's not what because to me potential can only go so far. Like after you played a certain amount of seasons,
Unless you're
specifically
Giannis.
and Unless you're Giannis. Well, Giannis again, that's a rare
Uh,
breed. You don't get Giannis on trees. That's the thing about how great he is. I mean, but there's a point I was gonna get. Like, I don't know about Halliburton. Like, I don't think Halliburton. I think Kings would be stupid. Like, I mean, Kings already are kind
they,
of
they are.
crazy, dysfunctional. Like, people talk about the Knicks being dysfunctional, but at least like throughout the years, the Knicks tried to put a winner together. It's just never worked out. But now the Knicks know what they're doing. They're making
Yeah,
smart moves. Like, this is a smart move. You're taking a chance. It's not like the pick. If it becomes whatever they said, if it's in the top six, like if Charlotte is in the top six in their conference, that then you get the pick. I think that's how it works when it's a
yeah.
protected pick.
It's a
So I
weird
mean,
protected pick because when we first did the trade, I'm like top 18 protected. Like I've never heard of that. Like
and
that was
again, I
weird.
think Leon knows that we can't continue to pick first round picks because you know how it is when you're first round pick, you're at least expected to show some contribution. And we don't have space to play all these young. Like if we keep drafting, like there's not going to be any room for these. Like this is why I'm kind of worried about Grimes not playing because Grimes can show you he's a sniper. We kind of need
Yeah.
those snipers. Like Burks is in. That's the thing too. Burks, we're gonna need Burks during the playoffs. Don't get that mistaken. I like
Hmm.
Alec Burks when he's clutch Burks. He's a clutch Alec Baldwin Burks. He's clutch. He knows how to get a bucket when you need him to. Like kind of like D Rose. You throw him the ball, he can go get you a bucket. And that's
Yeah.
the sad thing is that our top two players, Randall and RJ, haven't really shown consistency in the clutch. Like, hey, go they bring us home. Every team has that one player. Even the bad teams, they're like, like throw it to like Jaron, yeah, like Grant. Yeah, go get us a bucket to win a game. Like every team has one of those players. But with Randall, that's the bad thing about Randall is that like you said it when RJ hit the buzzer beater, like nobody's gonna hit a buzzer beater. Nobody's clutch. No pun intended. But now, like we're trying to find that player, and I think, in my opinion, it has to be RJ. You have to mold him to be that player for your team if we're going to move forward. So
Yeah.
it's definitely
And
going to be. Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't trade Quinn Grimes because at least at this point, not like he has an expiring contract. We took this dude very like late in the draft, and like he's not getting paid a lot of money. He's a 3-and-D player, even if he's not even obviously we know he's not a starter, but even if he kind of falls out of the rotation, he's still like a good emergency policy guy to have if guys go down. He's a great depth guy, but obviously I want to see Grimes get minutes. But someone left a funny comment. Let me find it. Oh my gosh. So Devin says this guy sounds like a young Tibbs, one pick. Am I bugging? And also Grant says breaking news: Atlanta authorities are currently searching for Leon Rose in connection to robbery. If seen, please contact local authorities. And we got a second round pick. I know it's like 2025, but
I
we
don't
do good
care.
with those
We
second round
love
picks.
second round picks. We love second. Wait, I sound like a young Tibbs. Maybe I am. I mean, I don't like playing the vets. I'm a young. I'm like everybody in the fan base. I want a youth movement, but that's the thing. When we hire Tibbs, when you hire a guy like Tibbs, you ain't getting no youth movement. So Kevin Knox is the worst basketball player in the NBA. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you look at him play, there's a reason why he's a third string. I mean,
Yeah, it's
that's why
sad
I was
though.
so like, why we brought back Knox, but not for whatever. That doesn't matter because it would have been third stringers anyway. So who gives who cares? But yeah, I mean, wait, there was really one thing, a point that I was going to make, but I totally lost. It was something about not about Obi, but like I totally forgot the point. But yeah, we can continue talking. Again, I think there's another move to be made. I just don't know what it is. It could be, could be. I don't think Turner. I think Turner. If we get Turner, that really surprised me. Like I don't think Turner's in the cards right now. I think he's too. He's a luxury type of player, in my opinion.
Yes,
In my opinion,
everyone wants
yeah.
Zion. Everyone thinks we're getting Zion. I wouldn't be mad at Turner. What would we give up though for him? Like we would probably have to give up an Obi because Turner's a good player. Because the Pacers are probably like, I want a young, promising player like back at least
I think
because
Obi and Quickly, and I know Quickly. Tibbs loves Quickly. I mean, this is the thing about Quickly. Like, I think at the best, Quickly's like a six-man of the year candidate every year. He could be like Jamal Crawford if he is just off the bench. You know,
yeah, but the Pacers are blowing it up. They should blow it up completely. So they're probably looking for like young talent back, and they want draft picks back. But we didn't give up that much for Reddish. They just wanted him gone. In my opinion, doesn't Grimes have a 40%? Yeah, he should have
it's
well for free.
crazy. I
Um,
mean, I don't know if it's gonna stay. This is the thing with young players. Like Grimes had a little stretch of where he was like off. Like he hit the rookie roll. I think you saw you the game he had against Detroit. He had like 5 open shots, or he had a good amount of open shots. He missed them all,
yeah.
but he's a rookie. Again, he's learning, and that's the thing. Like with Tibbs is that maybe next year Grimes, if we still have Fournier and Grimes is like doing great stuff off the bench, if he is playing off
Hmm.
the bench. I think Grimes, like, this is the thing with Grimes and even Reddish. Like, if Reddish, oh, this is the point I wanted to make. This is what I forgot about.
Okay.
So, the once Reddish has a crazy game, everybody's going to be calling for Fournier's head. The Knicks fans, like, all of us, going to be like,
Oh
this guy's
my.
got to start
We
with his
want
best
Reddish.
friend. We want Cam. I'm telling you, it's crazy, you know. And we already have his nickname. I don't know if you guys know Cameron, the rapper, and his nickname is
Oh
Killer
yeah.
Cam. But I don't know if they use the word killer to describe, but that's just going to be his nickname, Killer Cam. When he's going off, he's killing it. That's what we're going to say. That's his nickname. But
I feel like.
that,
Go ahead.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like in the first great game he has, like if he drops 30 off the bench and Evan Fournier is dropping like 5, he's going to have one of those games for me because he's done it this season where he disappears and he's not hitting the shots. So this is what I'm concerned about because if you keep Fournier, Cam Reddish is going to be on the bench and people are going to want him to start. That's the thing that's going to concern me.
Yeah.
And
I don't
I'm
know
not a
if we're.
Fournier guy. So
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna look to trade Evan Fournier soon. Obviously, the way he's been playing, Leon Rose is probably looking into it,
he
but it
says,
doesn't
well,
mean it's gonna happen at all. And yeah, you could make the debate start Cam Reddish over Fournier. I know he hasn't shown anything with Tibbs, but Reddish is a better defender, and you can't say Reddish is inconsistent because Fournier is inconsistent as hell too. I guess the only thing Fournier has over Reddish is that he's a veteran and he's been in this league longer. But Cam's obviously not going to start right away. Tibbs wouldn't do that. He needs to prove himself in practice. He still needs to build chemistry with these guys. Like I know he knows RJ, but we still don't even know how the fit's going to be with Randall. Like who knows?
yeah, I agree with that. And again, the comment is perfect. I'm calling for Fournier's head now, start. Yeah, already. He hasn't even
Yeah,
played one game
I
with
don't
the
blame him.
Knicks.
I don't blame. Forty's been
This is
playing well lately though, so I'm not gonna hate on. And when I mean lately, I mean the past like 2 games. So H says our bench is gonna be fire when Rose comes back though. I do love our bench.
our bench is because again we just solidified with this move that like we kind of need that depth because again in the playoff series if some guy is not having his usual game you kind of need a guy off the bench to pick up the slack. Like remember last the Atlanta series quickly had some great moments. Obi had a great
Mhm.
playoffs. Like you need those
Yeah.
guys just in case Randall forgets how to play basketball. So we'll see. We'll
Cam is a
see.
good fit for the Knicks. Next is Zion. Then we have the Duke Knicks. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be the Kentucky Knicks. Now we're gonna be the Duke Knicks. So,
The
um,
Duke. Yeah.
obviously, obviously, if Zion was in good shape, I'll take him in a heartbeat. And if he played basketball this year, but gosh, he's so out of shape. Like he's so far away from playing basketball. Obviously, Randall. I guess Randall's going back to New Orleans. You enjoy the gumbo, sir. So, I don't know I don't know how high the Pacers are on Mitch because we
I
saw
don't
last
know.
night. Mitch played a great game. I'm not taking anything away from that, but gosh, the Mavericks center play is Shea. They suck at center, but
Yeah, the White
Mitch is
Pal was
fantastic.
like I know I listed because the Dallas Mavericks are my second favorite team, and you know why? They have my man Frank. So Mavericks fans hate the White Pal apparently. Like they actually want Turner just like us, but I think it's more realistic for them to get Turner because they have some young players. Like if they wanted to give up a Josh Green, which I would keep Josh Green. I actually think he could be a talented player, like a really good
Yeah,
player, but if they were to trade Josh Green, that would be a better asset than whatever the Knicks have. Because Josh Green, I feel like he's so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Josh Green is more solidified than Emmanuel. Like, if we gave him quickly, would they like quickly
oh,
over Josh Green?
probably.
So
Green's
then
had like
maybe,
he had a nice
yeah,
stretch, but what did he do last year? Like,
yeah, he basically was riding the bench. And actually,
yeah,
this season, Frank had he had the bench spot before him. So think about that. Like, oh, like he got outplayed by this guy who was a bust. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely
yeah,
like who really has the best asset. Like, Turner's a very weird player. I think Turner's going to go to a team we don't expect him to go to. It's not going to be any of these. Like, it's usually there's always a mystery team with some of these trade rumors that we just don't know of. So
Yeah. Like there was the rumors he was going to Boston and all. I feel like Turner's been in trade rumors for like years and he hasn't gone like anywhere. But Turner, he's a weird player. He's talented, but I think he's overrated at the same time. First, I feel like he shoots too many threes. He only averages like 7 rebounds a game. He's athletic, but he's not going to give us that extreme lob threat like a Mitch. And because we have no point guard, we got to be able to just make simple reads. It's easy. Like I feel like it's so easy for RJ. It's so easy for Fournier because Mitch has a simplified game. We know he's just rolling to the basket. With Turner, I feel like we just don't really have anyone to set him up. You know?
oh, and do we even have shot attempts for him? Think about that. If you keep, well, you would have to go Fournier because you're gonna keep Fournier. All these guys are gonna want to get like 15 plus shots to get. Turks would be like, I want to get
Yeah,
involved in the offense. He'd be mad because we still have Randall. We're not giving up Randall. Everybody talk about, oh, Randall's not going to be off this team during the deadline. Randall's going to be here this year, next year. He may even be here throughout his contract. You never know. Like, don't just lose faith. Like, I think you give a guy that money, you invest in your investment, just like any business. Like, you invest in the guy you gave the money to. You ride it out and see what happens with Randall, and then you can make a move later on. So,
yeah, and I feel like Turner and if you have Turner and Randall, I feel like that's too outside oriented. I know Randall takes a lot of jump shots. He doesn't consistently go to the basket like we would want him to. And I feel like we'd be doing the same shit with Turner because I don't know if it's a coincidence. Whenever I watch the Pacers, he just shoots so many threes. And not like he shoots them at like an extremely high clip. I'll have to check his percentage, but I feel like he doesn't knock down like a majority of them. Buzzer Beater says, why didn't they give up Gallinari? Yeah, Gallinari's been inconsistent this year, and he still gets paid a lot of money, I believe. But Reddish, he's been in the rumors for years. They didn't want to extend him. They haven't. He hasn't shown enough, and I just don't think he fits them. But if you, I have a question for you, MH. If you're a Hawks fan, how do you feel right now? Like, put the Knicks fandom aside. Like, if you're a Hawks fan, how are you feeling?
I actually think like they're kind of like wondering like I actually think they're not too like maybe they have some optimism for Kevin Knox playing the four spot. I don't know, but you never know with some players. But I think they're definitely wondering like are they giving up on the season? Because think about it, you gave up a young promising player for another young
Yeah.
player who doesn't have as much promise. You're maybe getting a nice pick. I think maybe Atlanta's trying to plan a big move. Think about it. They just got a Elo is protected. It's still a first round pick. Maybe they're setting up for a big move. Maybe they'll make a big move. Maybe they'll go get somebody that maybe it's not rumored to them. Like I've always said, Atlanta, like if they wanted to pair Trae Young with another player, there's some players like Beal's been unhappy. We saw the fist. We heard about the fist fight with. I mean that's
Oh,
crazy. I
yeah.
think Beal is definitely. People ain't talking about Beal right now. Beal's not staying in Washington. There's no way, in my opinion. Beal's gonna
Yeah.
get moved somewhere, and you never know. Atlanta, maybe they had these young players play for them like Herter. Maybe they're trying to. I don't think I want to sound crazy, but
And he hasn't been
Beal
great
to
this year, I don't think.
Atlanta, they don't even play that much defense. Oh, they have Hunter. If they can keep Hunter and get Beal with Trey Young, Young and Beal, I think that's actually maybe they're setting up for another move and they can't. Maybe they can't afford to have Cam in the move. Like it's very weird, but because why wouldn't they keep Cam to get to trade him to another? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. But I think either they're not really willing. They just don't want to pay him. I think that's another thing. I think that's an obvious case though. If we were to just
Yeah,
talk
they didn't
about
want to
like
pay him, but their defense is. I don't know what their ranking, but I heard a Hawks fan talking about they have like a top 10 offense in the league, but their defense is like really, really bad. Um, I actually think that would be a good fit for Turner if he went to Charlotte. I actually would like that for Turner.
Hornets, that'd be. What would they give up? Rozier? They give up one of their maybe. I
Rozier,
mean,
your boy Book and I will get more minutes.
oh baby,
um,
that'd be great. That'd be great if he gets a new. They drafted him and they never. I just don't know. Sometimes there should be teams that just know. Maybe they just don't know. Like they draft players just in case. Because now with all the COVID stuff, you kind of need players with some promise to be your third string guys. Like look at the Knicks right now. Our third string guys are Miles McBride and now Grimes probably is a third stringer if once D Rose comes back. And Kimba's probably going to play if he's healthy. Kimba kind of has to play if he's
oh yeah,
healthy.
we didn't really talk about him. I think he's going to be waived Well, Solomon Hill's out the rest of the season. You just think we're gonna waive him, right?
But he's such a Tibbs player, though. That's what's hilarious.
He
Like,
plays
don't you think
defense.
he's a Tibbs?
Boom.
He plays defense. Woohoo! Nah, but we should waive him. There's no point to keep. I mean, he's. I mean, if he's a good veteran, though, I keep him like a Taj. But I don't know if you have enough roster spots. I mean, we gave Arsa Diakono. Was that a 10-day deal? Yeah, it's a 10-day deal. So it's
Yeah,
not
I
like he's
forgot
on.
he's on this team.
He was on the. He was celebrating on the bench. That's yeah. Yep,
All right.
does
Should the Knicks get Bradley? Obviously, I would want Bradley Beal. See, this is the thing, though. Obviously, Bradley Beal's a great player. You would have to give up a good amount for him, or do you just wait till he's a free agent?
I would either wait till he's a free agent or like right now. Don't you think right now with all the stuff that's going on, don't you think he'll force his way out? Because why would you want to stay on the team where you're having getting into fist fights in the locker room? Maybe that's normal though. Maybe they're like, oh, we're just getting into fist fights. Like this is emotion shown because fans we love when players care. Like they want to win. Like when Randall, like the people hate on Randall for the thumbs down. He's showing emotion. He cares that people don't like him. Even though I know you should be more
Yeah.
thick skinned. You shouldn't be thin skinned, but that's kind of how it is now with the social media era. You're looking on social media, people like I bet there's definitely people hating on Randall. He's got his family on there. You never know. Maybe there's more to it than just that, but that's I can't. That's why.
Yeah, especially as the number one option. He's got to control his emotions. He has to set a better example. But I know he's an emotional guy. He cares. It's just sometimes it's hard to tell if he cares. Like he doesn't show that he cares consistently.
His
Um,
body language is definitely. I saw a thing on Twitter, and Twitter's definitely a weird place. I mean, if you're looking through Twitter, you're gonna find some weird stuff. But they're starting to compare the mentality of the reason why Knicks fans love Frank Ntilikina was not he wasn't a good player. Let's be honest, it wasn't good, but he was always professional. He never cursed anybody out. He never
same
really
thing
he was
about Knox. All right, moving
no,
on.
no, Knox though. I don't know. Knox is. I guess maybe they are the same, but Frank, he didn't care if he was off the bench, like if he was being benched 10 games for nothing. They didn't play him. But the thing is, they're two different things. Like some guys they don't mind being third string player. Like that's why I think Randall. If you bench Randall, I mean that he wouldn't take it
Oh
well. He
my,
would
that
never
would be a
take it
mess.
well. But it's not going to happen. We know we paid all this money. He's going to start all the games as long as he's healthy. So
Yo, Avery wants to join. Yo, I'll put the link for you. See what
I
Avery
mean,
had to say.
yeah, let Avery talk. Let Avery speak. I want to hear. He's a great Knicks fan. He's a
Wonder
great
his,
Knicks fan.
because it's funny. Me and Avery were talking about. I was like, Knicks aren't making a move. I wake up, I see a notification. Knicks freaking trade for Cam Reddish. Um, someone
I mean,
said,
that's what happens. You can say if you just say it on live stream saying the Knicks won't hit a buzzer beater, and then they hit a buzzer beater, and then on live stream just say, "Oh, Knicks ain't never making another move or never trading for." I mean, I totally forgot. Yeah, last year we did trade for D Rose. It just felt like such a minor. Like we gave up Dennis Smith Jr. and a second round pick for Derrick Rose, and he's one of the our most valuable players in the clutch time. He's definitely one
yeah.
of our most valuable.
Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. By the way, do you think? I feel like we're gonna trade for a veteran at some point because this is a young team right now. When you look at the starting lineup, I feel like we're gonna have to get a
A
veteran. That's
veteran.
just me though. Because
I'm just
Fournier, I
trying to
think he's
think of
gonna be
a
gone.
veteran point guard. Like, there's no veteran point guards out there that are like solid that could start for a team like us. There's just no point guard.
No, just a veteran
Everybody,
in general though, because like trading. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we're trading for Halliburton, but if we trade for a guy like Halliburton, this is gonna be a young team. I think we need like another veteran or
yeah,
something.
it's already young as is. If you look at the average age of our team, the only player that kind of deviates our age is Todd Gibson because he's 35. He's the one guy who puts our age like when you average out the ages, like you put a bunch of numbers together, you add them up and you divide them like little simple math. Like that's a
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Like and if you do that, then you get like I think it's like 20. It's 25 to like 27 because we have some players who are like third or near in their 30s. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a
Um,
young team.
Grant says we get Jalen Brunson, Halliburton, or Miles Turner, and I'm happy. Um,
There's no way we're
because
getting all
we
those
we
three
definitely
players.
have to
There's
get
no
rid
way.
of some other people. Too many people on this team.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get all those guys in a trade. Like you'd trade the whole team for those guys because they're valuable to
Yeah.
those teams. Like that's the thing. some players, I wish like if Brunson's a free agent, I'm giving him an offer because he has the ties. Rick
Hmm.
Brunson, we saw him at the game. I don't know if you were watching the ESPN the ESPN channel, but I was looking at MSG and they did a interview with Rick Brunson on the sideline, and he's
Yeah,
smiling like big smile on his face, like he knows that if his son played for the team that he played for, obviously home, it would be definitely a great because just like Obi. I mean, Obi from Brooklyn, he loves the Knicks. It's a good feel moment. Like just like Kimball, like we love trying to get these homegrown players because it's a great like you never know if they're gonna blossom and be even better than they are. But Brunson, even if we did get Brunson, I'm kind of weary on not that he's not a good player, but
I don't look
I
at him
just
as
don't
like a
know.
starter long term.
He's like a six man, but when he starts, he
Yeah,
can give you some numbers. Like that's the thing with Brunson. Like I don't know what Knicks fans are thinking. Like, do they think he's going to be like the best player on our team? I just don't know about that. But he can
yeah.
score though. He's definitely what
Um,
we need. We need a scoring like go-to scorer. We need another one of those guys.
yeah, I agree with that. What else? There was a comment in here. Zion really come on. Crom's like, you guys want Zion? I'm like, I'm good. Or I
Yeah.
don't think the Knicks should get Zion. Someone said, just get a number one option. Yeah, we still need a true. We still do need a true number one option. But Avery's in here. Oh yeah, but let me bring up something before I bring in Avery. This is what I was gonna say. Isn't this a good time? Knicks were playing like straight doo doo before, right? Don't get me wrong. We have a tough schedule coming up. We're only at 500, but us being at 500 is a positive right now because we were below that before. You have RJ who's playing like the third overall pick. Randall, he's not putting up numbers, but he's not playing good, but he's unselfish with the ball right now. Mitch has played. He played well lately. Fournier's played good, and we're winning. And we got Reddish for nothing. So I feel like we have some positives moving forward right now. So let's bring in Avery. What are his thoughts? I haven't heard his thoughts. Maybe he texted me. I'm on my phone right now. Let's see what Avery got to say. Yo, what's
What's
up,
up,
Avery?
bro? What's up?
What's up, man?
That's good.
Yeah, I heard you. I do think this is a good move. This is a steal for the Knicks. Um, Obviously, I like Reddish's defense. I think that under Tibbs, it could be an underrated part of his game. Like his
Mm-hmm.
rebounding, like when he's motivated to, he's a pretty damn good rebounder. And I know that he's shooting league average this year. I know that he's shooting
Yeah.
40% and 38% from three, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I am excited about Reddish. I do think this is a good move. This is an underrated move, and um, he's an impact guy. And the problem is we have a lot of guards and wings now, so I do believe that we're going to make another move pretty
Bye,
soon.
Fournier. Bye, Fournier, please.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
go ahead.
I could see like maybe Fournier and Mitch for like a Miles Turner. Do y'all see that?
I feel like we're going after Turner. I don't know if it'll be those guys. And yeah, I agree with you with Reddish. He brings I feel like a higher ceiling to this team. Obviously, he's not polished and where you would want him to be as a lottery pick, but I feel like he has a pretty high upside. So I like that we brought him in. But what are your thoughts on that, MH?
I was gonna say
The Turner
Indiana.
thing.
Yeah, with Indiana, I'm definitely. I mean, Knicks definitely have to document what they do because if they do straight Sabonis, would they really also want to straight Turner? Like that's really what I'm thinking in my head. Like
I think they want
obviously
everyone gone.
They
they
want,
want
yeah, they
every.
want.
It could be possible, but I'm still that mindset that maybe they want to see if one of them could lead the team. I don't know. It would be weird because
No, yeah, I
they're
think they want
big.
everyone gone. Like they want
If
Levert
they
gone,
want everyone gone,
Winston,
why would they
Turner.
want? I was gonna say, Avery, why would they want Fournier and Miss? You're just replacing another big with another big, and you're getting another veteran. To me, that wouldn't make any sense.
They
But
want picks.
again,
They want young
they
players.
want picks, and they would rather want Obi and quickly in the
I
pick
agree.
than Fournier and Miss. Nothing gets missed, but again, what really are you developing in Miss's skill set that he doesn't already like? I think we know, and I'm not hating on Miss, but again, he hasn't even shown the mid range game, not even a hook shot. I wish if Mitch had a hook shot, Walt Clyde Frazier would be on commentary like, oh my god, he's Kareem. Like they'd be crazy, but he doesn't
Kareeman
even
and
show it.
dreaming he is.
Kareem
All right, go
and
ahead.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like he hasn't really shown that. So what is really in like I'm not saying his value is low. I still think Mitch is very like he's got value, like in terms of defensive big. Like I was talking with like Noah before, or Clutch, sorry. They got the name out there, but we know Noah, like Clutch. I talked to Clutch about like how like Mitch again, like I'm not saying he's Rudy Gobert, but like his impact in like a play, like even if I think Mitch actually would be way better in the playoff series than Rudy because Mitch can really move his feet on the perimeter to defend those point guards.
The pick and roll, yep.
He's got those long, the wingspan's crazy. So I'm kind of like Gobert, but Gobert's kind of light on his feet. That's why he's been kind of so that's why I'm saying Mitch's value is definitely still there, but for a rebuilding team like Indiana, why wouldn't they want Quickly and Obi, who you still don't know really what they are. You know what I'm saying? They're still young. You never know if Quickly's this is like going to become this starting point. Like, I don't think he's a point guard for our team because again, we have RJ and Randall who take up the ball. So on another team, maybe Quickly's going to flourish and be this, 20-point per game scorer. You never know. But on a different team, he would be looked at differently, just like Obi.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they would want a Fournier and Mitch because when you're rebuilding, when you're getting rid of Sabonis, you're getting rid of Turner, guys with big contracts. What's the problem? These guys are getting paid a lot of money. They're good players, but you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. You're mediocre. And if you trade for a Mitch and if you trade for a Fournier, I'm not going to say it'll be the exact same situation. Mitch is younger than a Turner. But why the hell would you want Fournier rebuilding with that contract and he's older? Like, if I was a Pacers fan, I would just stop being a Pacers fan. I'd be pissed off if my team got Fournier. So I agree. The Knicks need if they're gonna trade for a Turner, they're definitely gonna have to sell quickly. They're probably gonna have to lie a little bit and say this guy has a higher ceiling than some people think. Because I think quickly he could still get better, but I'm not gonna say he's freaking the next Damian Lillard like some Knicks
no,
fans think
no,
out here on
no.
Twitter. But I wouldn't be mad if we trade for a Turner. It depends what we give up, though.
It really, yeah, I agree with that. It depends what's the value for because again, I do think if Turner was in our offense, if he was given the opportunity to be on the perimeter, he would space the floor even more for Randall and RJ, who kind of need to get in the paint. So it's definitely going to be something we have to document, or definitely what Leon and the whole front office is looking at.
Yeah. Trade Obi and Quick. No. All right. See, they're young players, and obviously, I don't want to deal them right now. That's just me. But at some point, I think we're going to trade Obi, especially if we stick with Randall. Obi's not developing here. I don't understand it. He's improved this year. He still barely gets minutes. Randall sucks. I already said this. I want to keep Quickly, and it's not just because I think he could be a starter of the future. I just like his energy off the bench, and he just consistently brings it every night. I'm not as high on Quickly as others are, but it's okay if he's not a starter. You could still have big time production off the bench. Like some people think if I don't think of Quickly as a starter of the future, people are like, "Oh, you're hating on Quickly." No, you could still be a big time impact player off the bench.
He could be our Lou Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say, why do people love Jordan Clarkson in Utah? Because he can get buckets and he can play next to some of the best players they have. Like that's why they love him. So like I could definitely see quickly like a Jordan Clarkson. That's why he won Sixth Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson last season. So
Yeah.
you never know. You really don't know with some of these young players, but I do agree. Like sometimes these players kind of what you see. Like like sometimes you go on the court. Like I'm gonna say this. Like what's the count? What's the count? I'll grab Trey Jones. That's crazy.
Might need to grab Trey Jones to ensure. Okay, I'm not trying to get the whole Duke team now. I'm not trying to. Maybe the
No.
Spurs they develop him into a Hall of Famer and then we'll trade for him. So
I don't know about Zion. Like right now,
I
I
want
wouldn't
Zion
mind
right
going
now.
after Zion because like a big with a foot problem. I'm not going
Yeah.
after that. Like,
Zion, I'm gonna say this with Zion. This is the last thing I'm about to say about Zion because it's definitely like it's kind of a pipe dream, but with Leon, like Leon's a weird dude, man. He got the egghead and all. He walks around like thinking he's this, he's got, he's an agent. He's been agent a lot of these players in the NBA, so he has connections. And if you know in business, when you have connections, you can gain a higher position. And he got the position with us, so he
Yeah.
clearly he's done good in the NBA circles, but this is the last thing I'm gonna say about John. It's a
Okay.
situation you're gonna document in 3 years from now. Not right now though. You're not trading for John right now. That would be just it would kind of be impatient in my opinion. And I would love Zion, but you're gonna give everything for Zion.
He's so risky. He's so talented, but he's out of shape, and you will have to
I
give him
think
like a
the out of
contract.
shape
That's
thing is
scary.
kind of blown out of proportion. I think it's mainly like his foot problem that's the issue.
But he should be in better shape if like he took his conditioning serious, in my opinion. But I have a question to ask you, Avery. Do you think there's another move coming? Who do you think will be traded in? Do you think the Knicks will look to trade for like a Halliburton? What do you think's gonna happen? Or do you think the Knicks are done this season?
I would be surprised if we did not make another move because, like I said, I mean, we have so many wings and so many guards. I think that we will make a move. I would be very surprised.
Yeah, this team kind of looks like a mess right now, the way it's constructed. I feel like a move is coming. I don't know when. It may not be this season. Um, but will you guys be surprised if Fournier is back next season, or you just expect it?
I kind of expect it right now because that contract is going to be so hard to unload.
Yeah.
You know what's
I,
crazy? Now, if Fournier plays well, the contract will like wait. Isn't he paid like 20 million for the next 3 years? Is that what the contract is? Six or is it more? Right?
something like that. I could pull up the details though. But go
I
ahead.
mean, it's not impossible. Like, I don't think it's as impossible as it was early. Like, when earlier in the season, Knicks fans wanted to. This is the thing with Knicks fans. Like, we gotta understand. Like, we can't just want to trade a player at their lowest value. Sometimes you have to buy high. What Atlanta just did with Cam Reddish, they bought super low on Cam Reddish. They got basically nothing for Cam Reddish, unless Kevin Knox becomes the next coming to Tobias Harris, which is not going to happen. I don't think it will happen, but that's the thing. Like, you like there are some for organizations that like we kind of did it before. Like whenever our young players weren't playing, we kind of do it still. When a young player's not playing well, we want to trade them. How about you trade a guy when they have the most value? Just think about it. Like,
So
but
this
yeah,
is
the
his
Fournier contract.
contract. So you're yeah, skin paid. 18 mil after this year. 18. Yeah, you're pretty much right.
I'm gonna say this, Noel though. I love Noel, but I think in a move for like another player, Noel's he's gonna be gone. And I like Noel's defense, but we know that. And I don't think his contract is as bad as people made out to be. He's 10 mil a year. He's a backup big man who can give you like a team will take it like a salary filler. They'll eat the money, in my opinion. But we
It's
don't know.
just the reason we don't like the contract is because we don't even know if he's gonna play at all. Like
Well,
he
that's
barely
another thing
plays.
that he just came back. I mean, but you saw his impact, though. I don't think he has zero impact, but his
He played.
injury
Yeah, he played
He
concern.
some.
does
He
still
was
have an
okay.
impact when he plays games, but the problem is that like he hasn't even played half the games this season.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the biggest concern. Like, if you want to trade it, that's the weirdest thing about trading an injury-prone player. Like, you just don't know how they're going to return. Like, they may return and they're going to be slow. Some players, like we saw with Gordon Hayward, like he came back from the injury and he recovered well from that. Like some players just know how to recover from injuries, and some like it can ruin their careers. You just never know. Like that's the biggest thing with like some of these guys like that you trade for that are injured or constantly on they're not available. So
Like I would
yeah,
rather see. Call me crazy, but I'd rather see like Sims out there and see him develop. Um, because you could make the argument. I'm not saying he's gonna be better than Noel in his career. You could say it's the same upside. Not like Noel stretches the floor. Not like he's a great passer. We know he doesn't have great hands around the rim. Like Sims at least is a lob threat, and I feel like if you polish him up, like he's already a good raw shot blocker. But obviously, it comes down to his positioning and all that. I
You
don't.
know who I
Obviously, we
think
have tips, so
Jericho Sims
Sims
could
won't
be
be
like?
playing. But I'd rather play like a Sims over Noel. But obviously, due to the contract, he won't play.
No, you know who I think Jericho Sims could be like if his development goes right? I
Who?
think he could be like a John Collins type player.
I don't
If
know about that.
What?
There's no
no,
way.
Avery,
No.
my. Okay, go ahead. I want to hear your argument.
I think that like he's not gonna be as good as John Collins, but like I don't know, I see a similar type game in Sims. If that
So
makes sense.
you think Sims will be able to stretch the floor like a John Collins?
Not like stretch the floor like John Collins, but like he's athletic. Like, I don't know, I see like a similar type player to John
You know
Collins.
a
How
more
about this?
realistic
He'll be a Walmart Mitchell
comparison? Yeah.
Robinson.
Of course, yeah.
All right, no, I'm kidding.
Walmart.
Go ahead.
Walmart, Luke Cornett. I was just playing with him. That's where Luke Cornett always Porzingis, Luke Cornett. But that's from before. But I was gonna say with Jericho Sims, like right now he plays like Taj right now almost. Like he sets good screens, like current Taj,
Physical,
not
yeah.
Taj. Taj in his prime though had a mid range game, and he was a really impactful defender. Like Taj obviously is, out of his prime. He's a veteran. So I think he's playing kind of like how Taj is right now, but he's younger, which gives you more. Like whenever with young players, there's always the excitement, like, oh my God, this guy's young. You never know what he could be, but in the end, you kind of have to be realistic. Most times, you have to know, like, okay, when is this guy gonna stop developing his game and just settle for being how he has been, like playing the game he's always been playing since college, basically. So
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of embarrassing how Sims is one of the youngest players on our team, and he sets better screens than Mitchell Robinson and Julius
Louis
Randle.
Randle,
I
I cannot
he's
believe you said
he's
that. That's
strong though.
true.
Sims is a strong dude. Um, they traded
He's
Cam
definitely
Reddish
raw.
for
He's definitely
Knox's
raw.
bum ass. Someone said in the chat.
Yeah, like you get that, like just like then when Dennis Smith Jr. was traded, I was like, oh my God, we gave Dennis Smith Jr. That's all we gave up. I feel the same way in a sense because it's not like you're losing out. Like Knox was never gonna play, but Cam is gonna play. That's why it's a
Yeah,
great trade.
and we gave up a pick. That's pretty much gonna be nothing. I'll say this though. Spectas kind of made up a good point. Obviously, I'm not high on Knox. He's not going to live up to that ninth overall pick. By the way, can we just bring up we can't draft? We saw Frank last night playing garbage time, knocked down a shot, awesome. Knox traded away. We can't draft for shit. Let's just bring that up. Leon Rose though, and Leon Rose is drafted well though, but Knox will bloom in another team because Tibbs is not letting him play. I don't think I don't think he'll be amazing, but he is in a smaller market, so I feel like there's going to be less pressure on him, in my opinion.
Like, what do you
But
mean
let's be real though.
bloom?
There's a
Yeah.
reason he wasn't playing though. But go ahead.
I was just say like to me, I said the same thing with Frank. I was like, oh my God, Frank's gonna go somewhere and bloom. But like really, what does bloom mean? Like being consistent. Like if Knox is a good bench piece, then okay. We lost out on an okay bench piece. Just like Frank, Frank plays well with Dallas, but he's a third string. That's the thing. Like maybe Knox is not even gonna show you that he could be a bench player, but if he is, then okay. You missed out on a good, promising young player. Like I just want to know what my man CK2K is thinking right now because he loves Kevin Knox. That's his guy. And he had the T-shirt. Oh my God! Now he has. I gotta go
Oof.
buy that T-shirt. Now it's gonna. They can't sell it no more.
Sell it
New
on
York
eBay.
Knox.
It's gonna be
Sell it
rare,
on
bro.
eBay. It's gonna be rare. Exactly. He's not on the team no more. Sad, but I mean, again, that's the NBA is a business. Like some players, you just can't develop. Like that's the thing with the Knicks. We just are not known for development. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Finesseful first take's gonna be painful because yeah, they're gonna push that
Oh
Zion narrative like
man.
crazy. Stephen A. Smith, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear his ass. But he says, okay, done push the Zion narrative. You know the media's ready to take over and manipulate the narrative. Stephen A. Smith's gonna come out because he doesn't watch basketball. He's gonna come out and say Cam Reddish pretty much Kevin Knox. How bad he's gonna say that? Yo, what's going on? What's Nick? Always a Nick in here. Wait, let me read this though. If Zion comes to New York, he will shed the weight. He's playing games with the Pelicans. He don't want to be. He's not playing games with the Pelicans. I think he meant to say he don't want to be there. They messed up trading Lonzo. Yeah, that made him unhappy. But we know Tibbs. He's probably gonna put him in good shape. But once Nick, always Nick says, "What's up, bro?" That was a fleece of a trade. I agree. Bringing up CK with the shirt. Now it's time to. Now it's time to move Fournier, Kemba. What's he? All right, Kemba's obviously not the same at all. He's extremely inconsistent. But if there's one team out there that you think would want a Kemba, who do you think it would be?
It
Because I
would
don't
have
know.
to be a team that's like a veteran. The Lakers probably.
Oh
If you
my!
think about it,
I
they're
would
an
not be.
old team. They're like one of the oldest. Aren't the Lakers like they got to be the oldest team in the league. I mean, they got
They
LeBron,
suck,
but that's the
bro.
thing. They're
Oh
also.
my
But I'm
gosh.
thinking there has to be a team that's veteran based that really wants. But what would Kimba really do on that team? I think Kimba right now in his career, he's a six man at the
Yeah.
best because he's not what he used to be. And I love Kimba. I love when he was playing in Charlotte and having great games every game and doing the semi shake. We love. He's a great enthusiastic player and he plays with a lot of energy. But maybe he can bring the same energy on a bench for a contender. I mean, we're not a contender. We are a playoff team potentially, we're not contender though. He needs to go to a contender, like a established veteran team, like maybe even Utah. I don't know, but Lakers pop up
They
in my head
suck.
because they suck. They're
They
20.
lost the Kings last night.
They're 500 and we're 500. But the thing is,
Y'all
we're
see
not trying to
Westbrook
go for a
last night,
championship.
man?
But this is the thing. They have LeBron James. We don't.
Exactly. They have one of the best players on the planet, but they're 500. That's the biggest difference.
But I want to hear your guys' stance on. Let's bring up Fournier real quick. Some people are on the train. They're like, I don't care what we get back. I just want Fournier gone. Like, what's your stance on that? Like, I'll start with you, MH.
You see, this is the thing. Like right now, Fournier's in the groove. So if you trade him now, it's actually it's a good trade because teams are kind of like, okay, this guy's got something. If you trade a guy while he's got his lowest value, you're going to get a bunch of second round picks, or you're going to get another bad contract. Like think about it like this. Remember when Al Horford, like that contract, nobody thought it could be moved, but they traded him, or I think what was it, Philly traded him to
Yeah.
OKC because OKC wanted to eat the money because they weren't a good team and they're still not a
And
good
they got a
team.
draft pick, of course.
Yeah, so you never know. Maybe the Knicks are like, okay, the Fournier situation didn't work. Maybe we want to start Cam. And I think that's when Knicks fans would get excited. They're like, another young player starting. Tibbs is not used to starting all these young players. Like, if Tibbs had the choice last season, he would probably, like, if he had full control, which thank God he doesn't, he would never play RJ. He would be like, he would have traded RJ if Tibbs had full control. That's how much of a maniac Tibbs is. But Tibbs is the coach, and Tibbs is a good coach. That's what I'm saying
Yeah.
with Fournier. Like, if we trade him and we don't get much back, it actually could be a blessing in disguise because maybe you could develop a Cam Reddish into like kind of like what Fournier is right now, but with the defensive aspect, which I think Tibbs has to look at what Cam is doing defensively and respect what he brings defensively.
Yeah. And before we get to Avery, I think Avery's burner's in here. I don't know who's this is. No, Avery's my boy. But this is the thing. Why are we comparing Jericho Sims to John Collins? Mitchell
I
Robinson to John
mean,
Collins then. Just because you're athletic, everyone like so
I
many
mean,
players that
like,
are athletic.
both of them, I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense to me because
Both
think
of
about it.
them
Jericho
are
Sims was a second round
both of
pick.
them are good finishers on the basket, and like they're both good low post scorers, and like both of them, um, both of them are good shot blockers too. Like, what's it
Describe
called?
Mitch.
They're both
No, I'm
decent
joking.
rebounders, and like I don't know. I could see a John Collins type, like not as good as John Collins, but like
If he's John Collins,
Ah.
he might be starting. So,
Oh,
he
Jericho
could
Sims started with
he
Randall.
could very well he could.
Dan says Evan could stay, Burks can go. Damn.
Wow, that
Holy
is so
sh-
backwards. Because think about it. Brooks has shown us what he can do in the fourth. I'm just saying again, in clutch time, like I'm saying right now, you put us in like not even a playing game, but put us in another playoff series. Is Evan Fournier gonna shrink under pressure? Because think about Fournier.
But he
Has he
will.
played a play? He did play a few playoff series with Orlando, but I mean they didn't do anything in the playoffs. They were first round exit. They got bounced in what 5 games. Like then people used to think that Orlando would shock. They won the first game against Toronto, and
Right.
Toronto went and won the championship. And they also beat the Bucks in game one, and they lost in 5 games. So
Yeah.
it just I don't know what Fournier could be in the playoffs. But Burks, we won a game because Burks went off in the playoffs and D Rose. So we may need him in the playoffs. You never know. But Fournier though, we don't know what we're getting with Fournier. That's a bad thing. Fournier's defense. I'm gonna give Alec Burks credit. He's not a point guard. That's why he's playing out of position right now.
Yeah.
But Alec Burks, he gives it his all on defense. Even if he gets beat, he at least faces the defender and tries to make a play on the ball. And that's what you have to for a veteran. You got to give him credit for that.
I don't want to get rid of Burks though because like we need clutch shooting down the stretch. I feel like we're getting rid of that if we trade him. Like we better get another like clutch player like in exchange. And isn't it crazy? We trade for Reddish and we're playing the Hawks next.
Wow! Oh my God! If he's available and oh my God, that's crazy.
I don't think he'll be available. I think he's
Because
still
they
in his
have to
practice
they
with
have
the
to
team.
give him a jersey number. He has to practice. Well, they probably already gave him a jersey number. He'll probably have the same jersey number unless it's retired. I don't know what his jersey number was. So
Well, the thing with Miles Turner is he's injury prone. Mitch is injury prone too, though.
Wow,
Um,
facing Atlanta. Why would they do, man? Atlanta's weird, man. I don't know what the hell Atlanta's thinking. They
all
traded a
right,
young, promising player. They don't want to pay him. That's the thing. They just don't want to pay
all
him.
right. Last comment. Then I'm gonna head out. We've been live for nearly an hour. Spectaz
Nice.
says Camp starts Fournier to the bench to be a rotation player. Reddish is a great defender instead of going for the steal like Fournier and gets embarrassed for that. Yeah, Fournier's embarrassing on defense. He played decent last game, but he still had a very embarrassing moment. But I have a question for you guys before we leave. So, what's your expectations for Cam Reddish? Or do you think this trade sucks? Do you think this was a bad move? If Reddish doesn't end up being a starter down the line, let's say, like, what do you think Cam Reddish really is going to be? How high are you guys on Cam Reddish? I'll start with Avery.
I think he could. mm, I don't know. I don't want to overreact to it because like he hasn't. I mean, he's looked improved this year, but he still kind of struggled with inconsistency.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that my expectations for him. I think that he will improve as a defender under Tibbs. I think Tibbs is going to get the best out of him defensively. Um, I think that's why. I think that's the main reason we got him for his defense. I'm excited about this move. Um, Offensively, I want him to be a little more consistent. I think that's going to be a focus of him in New York. But I think that he will be one of the more underrated players. I think that under Tibbs, he can be. I think under Tibbs, he can be. I don't know. I don't want to get too. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but like I think he could be like one of the more improved players in the league under Tibbs.
Okay. What about you, MH?
I actually have a weird, like, I think Tibbs, if he, I mean, he's a young player still, so maybe he'll make some, like, I don't think he'll have the same impact D Rose had last season. I think it's kind of hard to duplicate what D Rose meant to us last
Yeah.
season when we traded for him and he made an immediate impact off of our bench. But as a bench piece, I think Cam could be used kind of like Reggie Bullock was. Maybe not to start because he won't start with Fournier, starting and getting into a groove. And obviously, once you trade for a guy, you can't just place him already. He has no chemistry with the starters. But I think down to like in like a fourth quarter scenario when you need a defensive stop or if there's a guy on fire from the perimeter, you can put Cam like if you don't need another offensive guy, maybe you can use Cam in that center. Have him like put on like if you think about RJ right now is basically used kind of how Bullock was, like kind of being because he's asked to guard all these big perimeter threats, and RJ's getting tired doing that. When you're facing some of the best perimeter players in the NBA, you're gonna get tired. That's why I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people think that RJ, like he's RJ's an Iron Man. The man plays a lot of, he's played a lot of games. Like it's crazy at the amount of minutes. Like, but I think
Hmm.
with this acquisition, I don't think it will be as impactful as D Rose, but in a late game situation, I always think late game. That's the most important time of the game. Third quarter and the last 5 minutes of the game. I think Cam Reddish could be used as like a defensive gizmo, like a gadget. Just put him on and instead of having RJ play all that crazy defense, like Cam do his thing defensively, and maybe he can hit a shot from the outside. He's shown he can blow up. He can have games where he just goes off, and the motor is there, but I'm not as I mean, I'm happy with it. It's a good move, but it's definitely a time will tell type of thing. He's still very young. 22, I mean, still
Yeah.
very young.
And he brings us versatility. Someone brought up a great point in the chat. I like RJ, but you could say he's sometimes a little undersized when he's going up against like guys that are 6'8", 6'9", and Reddish. I think he can keep up with those more athletic players. He has the physical tools for sure. And another thing I don't think people are really talking about, Cam Reddish. He's had the narrative with him is he doesn't bring it every night. Doesn't consistently have a high motor. So will Reddish be able to handle the bright lights in New York? I think that should be interesting to see for sure. And we'll end it on this high note here, an insanely high note. See a lot of Paul George, T Mac, and Reddish's
I
Wow.
was
games.
about to say a Paul
Damn.
George. Like, I do see similarities to Paul George.
I don't know. Nope. I think what Cam could be is maybe like again his defense. I gotta look more into the defense, but I do think maybe I'm more of a low standard guy. He could be what Reggie Bullock was last season if he can really carve that role out with Tibbs. But
Yeah.
Paul George, I mean,
That was,
No,
that's he could be one of
there's
the best
still a
players in the
lot of
league.
use for Paul George in his game.
I'm not
I
there.
agree with that.
I'm not there anymore. Like he was there. That was like the whole thing people were talking about during the pre-draft process. But you could say the same shit about Kevin Knox when he was here
I was
his
about
rookie
to
year.
say that.
Everyone,
I was about to
everyone
say
would
that.
give it an opportunity. Or everyone has a different game. I agree with Avery. He has moments that he performs off the dribble, shows his athleticism, but all that means nothing if he's not consistent. So will we see consistency from Cam Reddish? That's the main thing. So I understand where people are coming from with that comparison. But obviously he's not close to Paul George right now. But shout out to the 35 people in the chat. Shout out to MH. Shout out to Avery. I appreciate you guys joining the stream, and I thought this was a good move. And peace out, y'all.